Howdy, this is Marcus from Northlane, and you're watching Interview Under Fire. What's up? This is Marcus from Northlane, and you're watching... What's up? This is Marcus from Northlane, and you're watching Interview Under Fire.
We got you a cake. Happy birthday, dear Marcus.
That's so
Happy
cute.
Birthday. Make a wish. Got it. Awesome. That was awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
Since you love Buc-ee's.
Oh!
Yeah, we got you that too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was for you. That's okay. Now
I'm just gonna hold this the whole time. Yeah.
Marcus, I want to welcome you to Interview and Fire. Of course, welcome back to Texas. And of course, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with me today. You know, a popular topic I always like to touch on with our awesome guests is on Texas, right? Mm-hmm. This has been a popular destination stop for everyone over the years. Last time you guys were here, I think it was with the Fit for a King in 2023. The crowd has always been great too. First off, how are you? I don't think I asked you that yet. How's the tour been?
I'm doing good. I mean, the tour's been really good. It's been like a fun group of bands. I feel like all the bands we've been out with are just super chill, and also having like a couple of Aussie bands out as well. It feels like we're not so far from home. So yeah, all the shows have been great. It's been so hot everywhere.
Dude, yeah.
You
came in during the time like when I tell my friends like, hey, don't visit Texas just yet. Wait until a couple of months, maybe when it's October.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing, Marcus. What is it about Texas that, or maybe even Dallas, that keeps bringing you guys back? And it's a two-part question: is it true what they say about Texas and Australia being similar? That you guys are the British Texans of the world? Or is it just? I need clarification from an actual Australian. Fill me in.
Honestly, I don't know. It's hard to say because I feel like there's some parts of the U.S. and Texas that do feel like other certain parts of Australia. But I don't know. For me, like Texas and Dallas in particular, it's always been like a warm place for us. Like every time we come back, the crowd's always really, really into it. The people are always super nice as well.
Yeah.
I feel it's always like a lot of kind people around, which is cool. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I've maybe not.
You may have to go back and like ask like everyone who's in Australia. It's like, oh, you know what? You're right. That may be a thing. I asked this to Alex and Sean from Make Them Suffer, and they actually did in the sort of way confirm, but we may have to touch base on that.
Maybe I'm just like not that Aussie. I feel like I'm like a pretty like straight down the line kind of person. I feel like my accent isn't as strong in like it doesn't have a big Aussie twang to it.
Yeah, well,
so maybe I'm not Australian.
Stay here as long as you want, and maybe that'll change. Now, here's the thing. You know, last night you were in San Antonio. I know we're closing out this tour here pretty soon, which is crazy to think about. Are you getting to spend any time in these cities, Marcus? Like, because you know, obviously being on the road, how much time are you getting to spend for yourself? And have the gas prices affected you? Things like that, like over the last month or so.
Well, I guess for us, you know, usually we don't get to see too much because we're usually like in a venue or on the bus, and especially while it's been hot, it's like pretty easy to just sit in aircon all day and just chill. But honestly, like we got really crazy into Pokemon cards this tour, so we pretty much like I'll wake up every day and like look up the local Pokemon store, like Pokemon card seller, and pretty much just go there.
Sorry, I'm really trying not to interrupt you. I'm getting like anxious to talk about Pokemon right now. So
I feel like it's cool because we're seeing really random parts of the US, but we're still like getting out of the venue, like catching an Uber, you know, a couple miles away and checking out what's going on. So
how much were you touring in 2016? I gotta ask you that question right now because 2016 Pokemon Go came out.
Yes. Absolutely.
I wonder if as a musician, it's like, oh shit, I can't wait to go to this part of the world.
Totally.
Did you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Nick, our drummer, he's still deep in it. He's had his account since 2016, and
dude, I downloaded it again just the other month, I had to delete it because I could not.
There's so much
I was
going
slacking
on.
off at work. So I was just like, oh shit.
And there's all the battling
A
stuff
Beedrill,
now.
like I want to catch a Beedrill so bad at work.
Exactly.
I have to cancel it.
There's like a lot more to it now as well
Yeah.
than when it first came out, which is a lot of fun. So, but I haven't gotten back into that as much as Nick has. But
Now we're talking about being on the road. A little pre-tour prep. Can you run this through really quick? What do you take with you on the road that you just gotta have? Whether it's something you're wearing right now, or it's something that you'll be taking that on the road now for that keychain I just gave you.
absolutely, that'll be on my backpack forever.
But
yeah.
going on the road, I always like to ask this to our guests, like, what do you take with you on the road that are like essentials? Whether they're good for you mentally, whether they're good for your emotional boost going forward, because obviously being away for that long, it kind of I feel like it could take a toll on someone who's on the opposite side of the world.
Definitely. Well, this time around as well, I feel like it's taken me a few tours to really be on top of that kind of thing, like getting things that are going to make the tour easier.
Yeah.
This time around, I brought so much stuff in preparation, like a phone holder that can like attach to the top of my bunk, so I can watch stuff in my bunk. And
Dude,
I'm
that's essential right there.
It is, and like I've been watching stuff every night before I go to bed, and
Yeah.
I mean, we also Nick, John, and I, we all brought up PlayStation 5s over.
Oh man.
So we've had
spoiled
three
yourselves.
Yeah, we've been just having those 3 PlayStations running like half the time on the back of the bus, using probably way too much electricity. But
hey, you're at the end of the tour. I think you can go as
Exactly.
far as you can. with
well,
this
like
one.
I said though, honestly, Pokemon's taken over
Yeah.
way more. We've been playing so much Pokemon cards as of late. So
I still have mine from I'm talking first gen. I don't know if you're like
dude,
me.
we've all been talking about the first gen cards and how like all of our parents threw ours out, or sold them at a garage sale for like way too cheap back in the day, and we're all just like,
I'm getting nightmares. Because
Exactly,
my parents
yeah,
said the
yeah.
same thing. Like, no, please do not. And my parents they thought I was too obsessed with this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna count to 3. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna name our favorite Pokemon. 1, 2, 3.
Charizard.
Alakazam.
Alakazam's a good choice.
Hell yeah, dude. Charizard. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like the classic one. I feel like we got to move on because
let's
we
keep
can't
talking
stop
about
talking
Pokemon,
about only Pokemon, right? Red, blue. What's your favorite color of the Pokemon? The games that came out?
Blue.
Blue. I think mine was red. Was the first one I got.
Well, I'm not sure if it's my favorite, but
This
blue
was like first. We're
blue
talking
is
like,
the one I got when I was a kid.
Dude,
Yeah.
shout out to the OGs, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's always for me. It's always a 150, 151 Pokemon because I used to know the Pokérap from.
Oh hell yeah!
I don't know if you're like.
I remember like little parts of it, but yeah.
I'm thinking about it right now, but.
Yeah, no, let's not go down that rabbit
Hey,
hole.
okay. Here's the thing. I do want to shift gears here because this was something that I wanted to ask you personally about. I know it's been a couple years since this dropped, but you guys have created something unique that actually allowed you to connect with your passionate fan base, and which you're about to see tonight. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Northlane World Eaters. Here's the thing. I don't know if you get a chance to talk about this a lot, Marcus, but this is amazing stuff because this is an exclusive club with many tiers of membership. And I've been looking through this over the years. Discovery, Impulse, Quantum, and Bloodline. Right? Okay. In this realm, you have created this strong community amongst your fans and followers with the creative music you put out, which we will touch on here in a second, where you let your supporters take a deep dive with you to see what the band has been working on behind the scenes and everything that you do. If anyone doesn't believe me, go check out their music videos, seriously. You knocked it out with Dante, by the way. I got Devil May Cry vibes from
Yes,
I don't know if that was
yeah.
intentional, but holy shit. Any words to describe this experience, and where do you see this sort of thing going? Because now that many bands have taken this route with Patreon and you know, coming to behind the scenes footage, because in this digital age, everyone has been taking hold of this, but you guys have really upped your ante on it. So tell me more about this. I'm gonna stop myself because I won't stop. But go ahead.
well, for us, I mean, like we started doing that at kind of, a time where everyone was kind of struggling through lockdown, and it was a time when we couldn't really tour properly, and we wanted to still be active and doing stuff and giving an experience to the people listening to the band. And also we were, I guess, very transparent with that being as well. Like we're doing this because it is like a bit harder to survive while we're not playing shows. And it's been really cool because we've been able to give these kind of unique kind of experiences to all of these fans who really want to support us for the right reasons, I guess. It's more than just like we're just listening to your music and we'll kind of shoo it away in a couple of weeks. Like, it is the people that really like want to support us and give a crap. So for us, it's been really cool to kind of get to know a lot of these people. There's a girl that's come out on like a bunch of our shows across the US on this tour.
Have you met like fans that have approached you throughout the tour? It's like, hey, I'm in this world eater.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. And that's the thing.
That's
like, there's a lot of people who, because we haven't done them in a while just because it's been a lot busier, but we're doing like live streams and stuff as well. So that was like a good chance to actually talk one-on-one with some people sometimes, answer questions that people have, and then eventually we get to meet them as well, because we're also giving them a lot of them the opportunity to like come to a show for free because they've supported us through that. So it's been really cool. We've run into a lot of the world leaders across the world, and it's like a very unique way of kind of reconnecting with everyone. And I feel like we've got to kind of pick it up a little bit lately. We've been a bit slack lately because we've been non-stop on tour. But we still kind of send out stuff to all those people that support us, and we still are giving those tickets to the people that have supported us. So it's really
injecting some Northlane in your life. Now here's the thing, I know I'm just a journalist. I've never seen you guys live.
Wowza. Well,
for as long as I've been following you, like we just talked about a pre-interview.
Yeah.
So in a way, I feel like you're speaking to me in a way when you talk about what you just said. Speaking of this current tour, this Mirror's Edge North America tour, this is Invent Animate, Thornhill, and Wind Waker. Shout out to Thornhill and Wind Waker because they've been on my show.
Yeah.
Those guys are awesome. I want to dive into this a little bit more because this is an important tour, I feel like, for a lot of these modern metalcore fans. You got some veterans and, of course, some up-and-coming acts from a whole movement of music. It's also an Australia-heavy tour, too, because 3 of them are from down under. Marcus, I ask a lot of questions about chemistry between members of the same band, right? And maybe we'll do a podcast later on down the road, whenever your next album is, because I find those kind of stories really interesting.
Absolutely.
But in this case, I do want to talk about the chemistry between those different bands on this tour.
Yeah.
There's some history there. We talked about the Australian bands. Do you think it takes chemistry to make tours like this work? And if so, what kind of chemistry do you take with you on the road? I know we're a month or so into this, so...
I mean, I'm not sure if it necessarily is necessary for it to work, but it makes it a lot more enjoyable. Like, it definitely, I feel like every band on this tour is very down to earth, kind of no one's, talking shit. Everyone's kind of just doing their thing, and they're just here for the right reasons, I think. And I think that makes the tour a lot easier because no one's trying to like one-up everyone or anything like that. And that doesn't happen too often, but I feel like there is sometimes an unspoken like competition factor to being on tour and being in bands and stuff. And it seems like all the bands here are just excited to be out doing it, and we're all just enjoying each other's company. I mean, for me, this has been one of the most fun tours I've done in a long time, just because everyone is so down to earth, so chill, and everyone's, I think all the bands are very unique too. I think like we're doing the electronic thing, Invent are doing like a really cool melodic metalcore thing, and Thornhill are doing their sexy thing. Wind Waker are doing their like future pop rap kind of metalcore thing. I think it's just like a really cool lineup of bands like stepping outside of the box and trying something different.
I had no idea Jacob from Thornhill was like he was like an intense director for his music videos.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that. And the costumes and all that stuff, that guy, I'm sure you know him by now, like he's an avid movie buff as much as I am.
Absolutely.
But, you mentioned how the sounds like EDM, techno, metal, you got, to me, again, I'm just one person out of a billion people, you guys are a breath of fresh air in the world of heavy metal for me, because Mirror's Edge has been pretty much it's been on my rotation since you guys have dropped it. Shout out to Will Putney, first off. He was also on our podcast a couple years ago. Absolutely nailed the job on the production, as well as you guys. I'm going to quote you here, okay, Marcus? You said something that really stood out to me about Mirror's Edge. By putting these songs out, I can leave that stuff behind. And you're talking about your own personal reflection.
Yeah.
And I can find a new direction and something to be positive about on the other side of this Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
Having said that, can this EP, I don't know what you can and cannot say, I wonder if this EP can serve as a sneak peek into what's to come on a new chapter for Northlane. It's been a couple years since Obsidian.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it's hard to say. I feel like we never put any limits or any restrictions on what the next thing might be. And for me, with that quote, I guess even still these songs aren't necessarily all like positive, but it's still like I think my mindset has changed a lot since doing Obsidian, and even since Alien as well. I feel like I'm in a better place, in a more positive place, and in a spot where I want to be exploring other things other than, you know, being miserable, I guess, and having
I understand.
awful things happen, or just dealing with, you know, mental health or whatever it might be. Just I want to be able to spread something a bit more positive, as I feel like I've been in just a bit of a negative rut for quite a while. So I feel like in the last year or so, I've kind of turned a new leaf, and I'm feeling more like positively driven and wanting to like spread something a bit more, make it positive in the end. That being said, I think talking about, you know, the things you experience, whether they're good or bad, is important, and people can connect with that as well. But for me, it's just like I want to be in a place where I'm happy and feeling like what I'm talking about isn't me just reflecting on the bad stuff. It's me being able to like move forward and look onto something positive and keep growing in that way.
First off, thank you for sharing all that, because it's not just easy to discuss these things out in the open,
Absolutely.
but the fact that you're doing it on such a productive outlet like music, things that all of us grew up on, like it, dude, I gotta commend it to you, because not only that, remember what you just said when you take the stage tonight, because all these people are here because of that. The fact that you're able to project all that positivity and all that well-being on maybe someone who's feeling that same way is coming here tonight and will feel that positive impact. So,
absolutely,
dude, you're doing it. You're saying you hope you're doing it. You've been doing it.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna finish this interview off with this, okay? Just hear me out. 6 albums, right? Including ARIA chart #1 records: Obsidian, Node, alongside Singularity, Mesmer, and Alien, which all debuted at #3. Okay, you may have heard this before. Let me just remind you.
Yes.
Let me just remind you. Northlane, you guys have also won 3 consecutive ARIA awards for best hard rock or heavy metal albums, as well as 2 AIR awards for best independent heavy album. Keep that in mind. You guys have made a name for yourselves over the years. From when this all started to where you are now, I've said the music continues to evolve. You're taking the sound of Northlane to elements of different and higher levels from what I'm seeing. If my math is correct, and I said I think 15 years since it all began. I know you joined a little bit later, but still, I feel like as if you guys have one-upped yourselves again with this new EP, the challenge on keeping things fresh after so much time, the lineup changes, and so on and so forth. Marcus, do you ever just stop, maybe take this moment to just stop to take a look back on how far you've come and how the band has come? Do you see things differently now from when you first started performing in the industry?
Absolutely. I think these days I try to just not take things as seriously and take it as it comes. I think when I first joined Northlane, which was about 10 years ago now, it'll be 10 years next year, which is at the end of the year, I think, which is kind of crazy.
That's so crazy.
I think I felt like a lot of pressure to you know, live up to a certain thing that came before, and I feel like I was in a state of trying to like transition into something new and kind of slowly bring more of myself into something that, you know, I'm new to. But nowadays I feel like I've been given the space within the band from the guys as well, and I guess with the fans that we've got as well, to just be myself completely. And for me, that's like I grew up just like a little emo kid, kind of bit of a dork, you know, he loves Pokémon cards and stuff. And
pretty much describing my childhood.
Exactly.
So,
I was, you know, I think like a lot of people who play music, we're all kind of misfits of some kind who are just trying to find their place. So for me, I feel like nowadays, we're in a really good place where we're just all able to be more ourselves and not worry about like what people expect of us or what people might like want necessarily. Like we kind of do what we want to be doing, and I think in the end that's something that will translate better than trying to fill an expectation. So for me, I feel a lot more free nowadays, and more like, we can kind of just do anything we want and not feel weird about it. Even if people want to talk crap about it, it's like, it's not for them, and that's fine. Like I'm very like comfortable in that mindset nowadays. So it's definitely different, and it is cool to look back on all that stuff, and it is something to be proud of for sure. But as we move forward, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna kind of wallow on that. I'm not gonna be like, well, we never did that like that ever again, so that's weird or bad. Like it doesn't matter. Like for us, it's about just putting ourselves into the music and feeling like good about it. And I think we're all doing that same thing, and we're all like happier and better off for it.
Bro, okay, last question.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're just wrapping this up. Before the interview started, I told you how much of an impact Obsidian had on me, right? What is your Obsidian?
Oh, that's a good question. I probably got a couple, but I'll go with Under Oath's Define the Great Line. For me, that came like, excuse me, that album came like at a time where I was like kind of figuring myself out and like trying to understand who I was and what kind of I liked. I was, how old was I? Maybe 13 or 14 at that point. And it was one of the first CDs I ever bought. And for me, there was something about the emotion of it and the heaviness of it without it being like necessarily like metal, like compared to the stuff I was listening to at that point, like, you know, Kill Switch Engage and Bullet for My Valentine and stuff. Like, oh, I love all that stuff as well. But there was this really dark and emotional feeling to that album. And for me as well, it came with a like DVD of them in the studio. So it was kind of both sides of that like inspired me so much, both the music but also the process of like recording an album and like working on all the arrangements and stuff. Like for me, I was just like, I want to be doing that. I want to be in the studio. And like for me, my first like big-ish like step into music was like me playing drums and singing in a band like out of high school. And that was fully out of Aaron Gillespie doing his thing. And so for me, that album's just always had such a, it's always held like a really close.
Something tells me you have it with you on the tour bus.
I don't. Okay. I should. That as well. And
for me, that's like Obsidian. I would keep that as like a Bible, you know, with me everywhere I go. So
I mean, that as well as there was a DVD that came out after it called Survive Kaleidoscope, which was like the tour of Define the Great Line. And like both of those DVDs are scratched to shit. Like they probably don't work anymore.
I bought that from like a Hot Topic too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's the one for me.
Marcus, we're gonna have to do like our own podcast for this shit, dude.
Yes.
But I'm gonna round this out. But do you have any any last words? Anything you want to share about this tour, about Northlane going forward? I mean, this is we're gonna be airing this to all the fans worldwide. So whatever message you have, the floor is yours, brother.
I don't know. I mean, keep on listening, and we'll catch you at the next show. Thank you for the constant support, and let's keep on kicking on.
Marcus, thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. Go crush it out there. I'll actually be up going insane.
Oh yeah.
Maybe starting mosh pits, but I'll be up there, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Interview Under Fire podcast. If you guys liked what you heard, please subscribe and share our channel. And please leave a 5-star review, as that helps us tremendously. If you'd like to check out more, visit www.interviewunderfire.com or our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And finally, we want to thank you all for the support you've been giving us. Keep it burning.